Many people come up to me and they say, Mike, what does it take to get to the top of the internet radio game? I would tell you one word: toughness. And Alex Clemens is showing that toughness right now. She is injured, and so she will discuss said injury. You could be watching it on Facebook Live because it's the Mike Sasson Show. Welcome, everybody listening out there at www.riversedgepgh.com or on TuneIn Radio across the planet Earth or on many of the podcast formats, iTunes, SoundCloud, or Google Play, or you're watching us on Facebook or Facebook Live right now. If you are watching live right now, comment away on our Facebook page. We do read your comments, especially ones that prove I'm right, like Alex's mom this past week, proving that, yes, I mentioned on several occasions how old I am, but Alex, again, proven wrong, so it's always fun for me. Again, thank you very much for everyone listening. Thank you for all the new listeners and all of the new support, because since the Millville Music Festival, we've gotten quite a bit of attention, so we're very happy with that, and we'll be continuing to release pictures from that said event, because our personal photographer, Liam, took several photos, so we'll be doing that. Now, beside me, as I mentioned before about the definition of toughness, when it comes down to just like people talk about like Willis Reed, Game 7 back in the 70s for the Knicks, when he was injured and he went out and he scored 6 points and he led the Knicks to a championship, which if you've been watching New York Knicks basketball for the past couple years, you realize that that is a definite impossibility. That's the kind of toughness you need to make it as a first ballot Internet Hall of Famer, Internet Radio Hall of Famer, and that's why Alex is that Internet Radio Hall of Famer. If you ever want to visit the Internet Radio Hall of Fame, it's currently outside of a deserted Sunoco in Tucson, Arizona. It is super producer herself, Alex Clemens. How you doing, Alex?
Hey.
Now, I mentioned before you are currently injured.
I don't know how many times you mentioned it, but yeah, definitely.
It's shocking. When I saw it, I was just like, are we going to have to call it? I don't know. But I
might have to get stitches. I don't know.
You're fighting through it.
Yeah, I was literally leaving work. As I was leaving work, I went to go unplug my laptop charger, and I guess the plug that is like the metal thing that's surrounding the plug, I like sliced my finger on the side of it.
Damn.
And yeah, now it won't stop bleeding.
It's still not stop. It's still bleeding.
Uh-huh.
Wow. Legitimately might have to get like some stitches in there. It might leave a permanent mark. I mean, Alex, your dream of being a professional hand model.
My hands are shit.
Your hand,
They're already scarred, so I feel like that dream was lost long ago.
Did you ever have that dream to be a professional hand model?
No, I think I have too small of hands.
Really?
I could be maybe like a kid hand model.
Okay. Like you were a rough side of the tracks kind of kid because of your scars.
Yeah. Like don't play with matches.
And then you see Alex's hands.
Yeah.
What kind of hands do you think need to be for like hand modeling?
I don't know. My sister has really nice. I think she has nice hands.
Has she ever gotten them professionally evaluated?
No, I don't. How do you go about that?
I don't know. There's got to be like some internet thing where you can like, because that's one thing that always weirds me out. Like recently, I was on the internet and someone had posted. You know how they'd be like, if your kid wants to get into modeling, go to the mall and we'll take pictures. Yeah. I always think those are fronts for child pornography.
I don't think so.
I think it's all a ruse for the international sex trade to try to get pictures of your kid. That's how I view it.
Maybe some of them, but I don't know about all of them.
But I think that if you Google it and say, hey, am I a professional hand model, there's some weird guys like, I'll take pictures.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because that's one weird thing. I was like in my 30s before I found out that there's like foot fetishes and all these weird kind of like
I never find that out until your 30s.
Well, you obviously, if you say, hey, Mike, there are guys that are really into like, naked shoulders, I'd be like, I guess there are. But like legitimately, there are thousands of men that just dig feet. And I couldn't care less.
Yeah.
I mean, unless your feet are like disgusting beyond belief. Other than that, if they're presentable, I'm okay with it. But there's some guys that like, no, that's the first thing. They want to smell the feet and they want to, all this kind of stuff. And just, okay, whatever you want to do sexually is okay, unless it's with feet. Yeah. Then I'm like, you know what, you're wrong.
Yeah, or like eyeballs.
Eyeballs.
Yeah.
Like you're just like, well, look at the white on her eyeballs.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a thing, but it might be.
I think that I could say anything like that and it could be creepy. Like, I could just sit there and be like, look, wow, I'd really like a hot dog right now. And then people are like, ew, what a scumbag. I hate him. I want him to kill himself. Like, I could say anything like that.
You don't even have to say anything, and that's what I think.
I know. It's what most people think. I assume most people are unhappy people because of that. Which brings me to my first point. No one seems to be happy even when things kind of supposedly turn around. Like today, it was very nice in Pittsburgh. It was like 80 something. It was sunny. It was 80 something. I had 5 people come up to me I come up to them like, hey, looks nice outside. And they're like, man, it's so hot. Oh my God. And then I'm like, okay, well, that's just one person's opinion. Then I go up to another person and I'm like, hey, looks nice and sunny outside. They're like, oh, it's unbearable, the heat. And I'm just like, we can never be happy.
No, it's my least favorite thing in the world.
What?
Because I'm always, because I'm at work and I'm just like, they're like, oh, I'm like, how's your Monday going? They're like, oh, it's so hot outside. I'm like, yeah, but at least it's not snowing. And they're like, ugh, I guess.
Everyone just wants that perfect 72-degree, perfectly no humid day forever. And the problem is that that's not Pittsburgh weather.
That doesn't exist.
Yeah. There's
fuck somewhere else.
Yeah, that's not what I mean. It's weather in like 2 places in the entire country consistently, like San Diego and like parts of San Francisco. That's consistently there. Other than that, every place in the country. I remember I had a boss once who for like 15 years was a traveling salesperson. So he visited pretty much everywhere in the country. And he said, Mike, every area of the country has 3 to 4 months of unbearable weather. If it's Arizona, it's essentially from about Memorial Day till about past Labor Day. You don't want to be in Phoenix in the middle of August. You just don't.
Right.
Just like you don't want to be in Pittsburgh in the middle of February. You just don't. And so the only place he said that he ever visited that didn't have 3 to 4 months of terrible weather was San Diego and literally in the city of San Francisco. Those are the 2 places where you're pretty much like, yeah, you go there any time, you're going to get some pretty nice weather. Every other place, like LA, 110 degrees in August. You don't want to be there. So the fact that it's 80 degrees, not that bad, people.
I mean, you should just stop complaining. Everyone should just stop complaining. We should just start a movement where, people stop complaining.
The other thing that we need to start a movement of is the next time someone in the British royal family wants to get married, we really have to do something to make people realize that it's stupid that we care this deeply about it.
How would we do that?
I don't know. I'm trying. If anybody has his suggestions, go on the comment page, especially if you're listening to us on the River's Edge. Find us on Facebook Live, like the show, and comment on how we can defeat the next time one of these, inbred moron freaking people from Great Britain want to get married, and we have to give a crap about it.
I mean, they can get married. We just shouldn't give a crap.
Yeah, I mean, you can do anything you want. You can get married. You can make a porno. You can, throw a big picnic. I don't care. I'm just really incensed by the fact that the thing that I used to hate more than anything in the world was award shows.
Yeah.
Royal weddings have now defeated award shows by 1 trillion times.
I think the thing that really gets me, that pisses me off about why people like these so much and what they do for them, is that people wake up at 4 in the fucking morning to start watching this thing.
And people were having parties during the week.
Yeah.
People were having they're wearing the Union Jack, the flag of Great Britain, and they were all like, "Ooh, I can't believe it's such a fairy tale." And I get the fact that it's a show.
Yeah.
I get that it's carriages and it's horses and it looks neat, and the fact she was an American made it a little bit different. But these people are what's wrong with the history of the world. These people are only important because of their heredity. They accomplished nothing.
Right.
They've done nothing, and yet we're supposed to treat these people like they're some sort of special deity. And the thing that also gets me is they went over ooh, there's some of the rules if you were to go to the royal wedding. These were the kind of that pissed me off. First and foremost, anything to do with the Queen really pissed me off. First off, you cannot shake her hand.
Right, you can't touch her.
You can't touch her at all. You can't do anything like that. So and I'm like, first off, if I met Barack Obama, I'd extend my hand, he'd extend his hand, we'd shake, and I'd go, Mr. President, he'd be like, Mr. Sasson, and then we'd have a beer. That'd be it. That'd be the respect level, but he's the president, and I respect him. If I met Donald Trump, I'd go shake his hand, Mr. President, whatever. The Queen, I'm not supposed to do that to. The other thing that got me is you are not supposed to speak first when talking with the Queen. You're just supposed to sit there, and if the Queen just nods and walks by, you're not supposed to say a damn word. But if the Queen sits there and says, "Oh, hello, who are you?" then you're supposed to be like, "I am Mike, whatever." Again, I'm supposed to. Who are you?
I wonder if something bad happened to where it was to where it made it that no one could shake her hand or like touch her. You know, like someone like razor bladed her hand once for no reason.
It all comes down to the fact that it's 1,000 years of bullshit tradition to where she's something special, and you're not. She's so above you that you're not supposed to start a conversation. If she doesn't want to have a conversation with you, then she's supposed to walk by. Instead of even if you just sit there and say, "Hey, Mrs. Windsor, hot today, huh?" You can't do that.
Don't you just wish though that you had these roles for yourself?
Yeah, I really would. The one rule that I really would like is the "don't talk to me unless I talk to you" rule. That would be a sweet
fun,
rule.
yeah.
That would be a sweet rule at all points.
And it's not like I would be mean to people, It's not like I'd be like, ugh, I don't want to talk to you. But it would be nice if I could always.
Because that is one thing
first.
that people in like Western Pennsylvania, Ohio, those type of places, they're very big on. They will start a conversation, even if they don't know you, even if they have no connection to you, and not like just general small talk. I'm talking like real conversations. Like, "My kid, I can't believe him. He got his daughter knocked up." And I'm just like, what? I'm just trying to get, I'm trying to get a drink at this Sunoco in Youngstown. I don't care.
I love those people.
But they're everywhere. Now, that is one thing, though. You would miss those kind of conversations if the rule was can't talk unless I'm talking to.
Yeah.
Which brings me to another thing. This happened to me over the weekend. So I did a comedy show out in Beaver County, and it was for a Catholic charity. It was it was a very somber thing. Like, you sit there and you talk about, like, you're doing a benefit for something. So I talk to the people that are putting it together, and they say, okay, here's the thing. And they're trying to like prepare me for what I'm about to do. They go, okay, first and foremost, PG-13, which means obviously don't swear, don't bring up, all that kind of stuff. But they say, okay, here's why we're doing this. A woman who was a teacher at a Catholic school passed away. So they set up a scholarship fund. We're beginning the process of raising money for the scholarship fund. And oh, by the way, the family of the woman, including her parents, are here.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, that's the comedy. Like, that's
how long ago did she die?
Like, I guess about a year.
Oh, damn.
But and so I'm sitting there going, okay, well, let's see how well this goes. And so I do pretty well. The crowd liked me, all that kind of stuff. I did about like 25 minutes, whatever. And so afterwards, I go to the bar area, and between me and the headliner, there was a little bit of time, and they were getting beers and stuff. And one of them goes, "Hey, buddy, you did a great job. Let me buy you a shot." And I'm like, you know what? I go, fine, great. So take a shot of Crown Royal. He was happy.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So then a woman comes up to me and sits there and goes, "Oh, yes, you did great." And I shook her hand. I go, "Oh, thank you very much. What's your name?" She's like, "Jane." I'm like, "Oh, thank you very much, Jane. Mike Sasson. I appreciate it. Nice meeting you." And she sits there and goes, "I know your name. It was said like 10 times during the show." And I'm like, I personally feel that if I hadn't have introduced myself, then that would have been rude.
Yeah, because it was like, "Oh, you should know who I am."
Which I have found in my dealings with people of note, that has happened before, and it makes me incensed.
Yeah.
Like, I remember one time I was talking to a local celebrity who will remain nameless.
Okay.
But it was at Arcade, and the person had seen my show. And so the person had come up to me and says, "Oh, hey, I just wanted to meet you. You had a great set." I go, "Oh, thank you very much. Mike Sasson." And I held it. And he was like, blah, blah, blah. Like, he was giving me like the vibe of like, you know who.
Oh, yeah.
You know who I am. And I'm just like, no, I'm going to make you say the name. I'm going to make you say the name. Because you know why? I remember there was this video of Michael Jordan when he was at the Olympics in 1992. And because it was so kind of like nuts for them, what he did was he said to the people, "Hey, I want to wake up at like 6 in the morning one day, and I want to go visit the Olympic Stadium." Because, again, he was surrounded by...
Because that's cool.
Yeah, because he was surrounded by, like, people and all the time. He wanted to go super early, and he wanted to see the Olympic Stadium. And so Nike, like, filmed it.
Yeah.
And so at the Olympic Stadium, they had, like, a little breakfast or whatever, and he sat down and he had breakfast. And the guy sat there, and, he says, "Hi, my name's Jim Rothauer. I'm from Provo, Utah." And he goes... And Michael Jordan sits there and puts out his hand. He goes, "Michael Jordan, I'm from Wilmington, North Carolina." And to me, even though I've heard some awful things about Michael Jordan, In no way did he have to do that.
Right.
That's Michael Jordan at the Olympics in the middle of his run with the Bulls. In no way did he have to introduce himself, but it was a level of respect. So, I don't know. Have you ever run into anybody that has tried to pull the, oh, you know who I am type move?
I don't think I've really met anyone that famous that would try and pull that.
I'll tell you even another story. When I was with ESPN here locally, one of the things they had me do is they had me cover Steeler OTAs. And it was the first day of OTAs, and they had just won one of the Super Bowls.
Yeah.
And so I go there, and we're interviewing Mike Tomlin and all this kind of stuff. And afterwards, Hines Ward was still kind of hanging around the field. And so me and another local beat reporter go up to him to ask him some questions. And Hines Ward looks at me, and he sits there and goes, oh, I've never met you. And I go, Mike Sasson, I'm with ESPN. He goes, Hines Ward, nice meeting you. And I'm just like, you know what? At that moment, if he would have said, hey, I got bodies buried, don't tell anybody, I'd have been like, secret safe with me.
Okay.
That'd have been in no way would I
Just
ever.
that's all you have to do?
Well, just show a level of respect.
Right.
Just show I just don't like it. And again, it comes back to the whole royalty thing. I hate it when someone tries to pretend like, hey, I'm not a person.
Yeah.
I'm not, I deserve better than this.
I'm more important.
I'm more important than this. Even like we talk about the Millville Music Festival. None of the performers, they could have had attitudes.
Right.
But none of them did.
No, they're all extremely nice.
Exactly. Now, granted, we could have really screwed them over, but we could have pulled their power at the point.
Get ready for these shits.
Yeah, hey, by the way, if you needed to go to take a leak, this is the time. Or after the set, we could have just been like, wow, that was awful. But no, we didn't.
I mean, that kind of would have ruined it for us, too.
Yeah,
so,
they probably, people after that have been like, these guys are jerks.
Yeah.
By the way, I mentioned, it's been about 3 or 4 times people have come up to me and said they recognize me from being up on that stage.
Yeah.
And you have said that the same thing has happened to you.
Yeah.
And typically, have they come up to you and then you've pulled the whole, you know who I am?
No one's really come up to me.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe you're intimidating.
No, I hope not.
I think I think people would view you as like, I can't come up to Alex.
See, I don't know. I think it depends on the situation. I used to always talk about this with my one roommate because around Point Park, there's all these religious people that would come up and try and talk to you and save you and stuff like that.
Why is it at Point Park in particular?
I don't know. It was just downtown.
Oh, okay.
But we ran into them all the time, and they would never stop and talk to her ever.
Mm-hmm.
But they would always stop and talk to me. And I'm I'm too nice of a person, and she's just a very intimidating looking person, especially when she's walking. She has this face on, and you're like, don't mess with her.
But they'd be like, you know what? I want to convert that person to Jesus.
Yeah. She looks like she needs some converting.
She looks like you should use some Jesus. Well, again, if you ever meet any of us, I'm going to tell you my name. I'm going to introduce you. Even if I become the biggest name in entertainment, I will introduce myself and I will say, hello, Mike Sasson.
Mike Sasson, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. There you go. Alex Clemens, Baldwin Whitehall School District.
No,
there you go.
Why would I say that?
I don't know. I'm just trying to be different.
Okay. I would never say that.
What would you say?
I would say Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Would you say Pennsylvania? Would you say Pittsburgh?
No,
Boom,
I would
win.
say Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Home of the 6-time Super Bowl champion.
I would never say that.
Really? When you travel, what is the one thing? What is the typical reaction when you say Pittsburgh?
Sports.
Just this, yeah.
Always, yeah. When I went to Denver, that was everyone's like, oh, the Steelers. I'm like, mm-hmm.
And you were just like,
Yeah.
Yeah, no one ever sits there and says oh, great art scene.
Yeah.
Or ooh, I like the rivers.
Yeah.
That's one of the things about people don't get about sports is how just unbelievably important in terms of the city's image it is. Because I think people think Cleveland's a worse place than it is simply because how bad the sports teams are.
I never wanted to go there growing up. I don't even care about sports, and I never wanted to go there.
You're just like, my God, what an awful...
It seems like a terrible place.
Terrible
humans come from there.
This is one of those weird childhood stories that it's one of the few times my dad we never went on vacations. My dad was just working all the time. And so this was during the early 90s when the Pirates were just great and the Indians were terrible. They had just made the movie Major League, and so my dad was doing some business up in Cleveland. And so me and my brother were joking, like, we should go see an Indians game. And this was when they were in old Cleveland Municipal Stadium, which was like built in 1932, and it's an absolute awful place. And so we sit there, and my dad goes, well, I have some business contacts up there. They could get me some tickets. Why don't we go? And when you're like 12 years old, you figure like Cleveland's like 18 hours away. You don't know where anything is.
Yeah.
And so we get everybody, and remember, there's 8 kids. At the time, it might have been like 6 or 7.
How'd you guys drive around in like a bus?
So Suburban.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we called them Tex because we got them when we were in Midland.
It's cute.
And another time, I'll tell you how Tex died because it was kind of my fault.
Oh. Like everything else in life.
Yeah, everything awful is my fault. I don't know if you picked up on that. So we go to Cleveland, and we're joking the whole way, like, oh, there's going to be nobody there. Oh, they're going to ask us to play, whatever. So we eventually make downtown Cleveland. Gigantic traffic jam.
Yeah.
Turns out that they had just started the concept of Turn Back the Clock Day, where they wore the old uniforms.
Oh.
And apparently in Cleveland, this was caught on like wildfire. So on a Friday afternoon game against the Detroit Tigers, 70,000 people showed up to this game. And we had no clue. So then when we showed up to the game, my dad goes up and finds the tickets. Now, my dad was doing business with like one of the big companies in there. And so he assumed that we were going to get like baseline tickets, all this kind of stuff. And so my dad, figures what's going on. We find out later that nobody in the Cleveland business community had season tickets to the Indians because typically in this 80,000 seat stadium, you could call up the day of and get box seats.
Yeah.
So the guy not knowing that Friday, this was a huge day, got us like nosebleed seats in like the upper deck where no one had sat. There's like a family of raccoons living up there.
Yeah.
No one had seen anything. And so we were upset. We show up in the 7th inning, and our big deal was Cecil Fielder, who played for the Tigers at the time, was the biggest home run hitter. He was a big giant fat guy. So me and my brother both took a liking to him. And so we're like, we're not going to see Cecil Fielder do anything. So we show up, and Cecil Fielder, it's the 7th inning. We're like, okay, let's see what he does. Boom, hits a home run out of the stadium. And we're
not to you guys, though.
No, we're foul ball territory. And so we're sitting there going, we got to see Cecil Fielder hit a home run. And so the Indians were so bad that in the 8th inning, Cecil Fielder got up again, and he hit another home run. So we're sitting there going, hey, we only had to be here for 3 innings. We got to see 2 Cecil Fielder home runs. So then we went to a local hotel or whatever, and then because we were going to go again on Saturday.
Yeah.
And so then we show up, and there's nobody there. We could have run my little sisters and stuff literally just were running up and down the aisles because no one was stopping them. And then the funny thing about it is my dad hands the concession guy tickets, and the guy goes, "What am I supposed to do with these?"
Sit wherever you want.
Yeah, seriously. He's like, "Go where? What do you cares?" He goes, "There's 80,000 seats here. Just keep going, whatever." And so that was the first time I'd ever been to Cleveland, and I always remembered very fondly because and I'm also very happy that I at one time was able to see old Cleveland Municipal Stadium because that place sucked. That place was a hole.
It's when you pretty now.
What?
I mean, the new one's pretty.
Yes,
right?
and I've been to Jacobs Field, and I've been to now it's Progressive Stadium or whatever, but I went when it was Jacobs Field, and I've been to several games at now new Cleveland Browns Stadium. Now it's First Energy Field or whatever. Who cares?
Yeah.
My greatest moment there was the last game of the season. This was 5-6 years ago. Colt McCoy was the quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, and everyone thought that Colt McCoy was going to be the greatest player in the world. By the way, little hint, he's already out of football. He sucks. So the Steelers are going into the playoffs. The Browns are terrible. Browns fans, it does not matter. They talk so much smack until kickoff.
Yeah.
They're talking, we're gonna kick your ass. Ben Roethlisberger sucks. You're awful. Blah, 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 blah. So we get in our seats. Probably 60% of the people in the stadium were wearing black and gold. These people are screaming, "You suck. We're kicking your ass." Blah, 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 blah. First play, Colt McCoy, back to pass, looking, fires it right in Troy Polamalu's gut, interception. He sits there, the guy sits there and goes, don't worry about it. Our defense will step up. First play, Ben Roethlisberger over the top, deep ball to Mike Wallace, boom, touchdown, 7-0. There's 14-14 remaining in the first quarter, and I swear to God, 10,000 fans of the Cleveland Browns left right then and there.
Oh, my God.
So think about how mad you are. You drive to the stadium, probably a half-hour drive, whatever.
Right.
Find a parking spot, tailgate, talk shit to Steeler fans, get into your seat, and less than a minute into the game, you're like, screw this, I'm gone.
I mean, that's pretty much what I do during every game anyways.
Well, not because they're losing. You're just like...
No, because I fell asleep or, like, am too bored.
Yeah. Well, like, I get this. That would have been exciting, though. I mean, an interception, then a deep ball, and that would have been cool.
Yeah, I would have totally paid attention to those. I wouldn't have been drinking a beer and eating food.
Yeah, but if you had at least found it was... the other thing about Brown Stadium is the fact that how much they don't understand that, like, the term Browns... Like there's like Brown Town, and I'm just like, come on, someone in. It's like with the University of South Carolina, their nickname are the Gamecocks, so everything is Cox. Like girls are like, let's go Cox, I love Cox, and we're all just like, come on, someone has to raise their hand and be like,
the person's just like, this is fine.
That was the bro hat when I was in college. Is someone would wear a hat for South Carolina and just said Cox.
Yeah.
And everybody would just, and you got to know that there was somebody at like New Era or the hat company that knew that like, okay, if we put a hat that just says Cox.
Every male that's like 18 to 24 years old is going to
buy this hat and wear it to the bar and think it's the funniest thing in the history of the world. Even though I'm 41 years old and I still think it's hilarious to wear a shirt that just says Cox. Anyways, we'll be right back. We'll have bar thoughts and experiences with Alex. Again, you're listening to The River's Edge at www.riversedgepgh.com, where you get the best local music and the best talk imaginable. My name's Mike Sasson. That's Alex Clemens. We will be right back.
Brian Crawford letting you know that Kevin Slogic, my State Farm agent in Allison Park, is here to help life go right and reminds you that you're listening to the River's Edge Radio Network.
Come on, go! It's green! Come on! Go!
God damn it, Brian. You need to calm down with the road
I'm sick
rage.
of these people, these assholes.
The road rage, man. You got to calm down on the road rage.
Well, I want to get to where we're going. We have a lot of great stuff coming up. We're going to Falling Water,
Bicycle Heaven.
the Mattress Factory,
Tuck Knob.
Trundle Manor. All right, which way do I go? Which way do I go? Come
right,
on.
Right.
Too late now.
Right, come on.
Well, too late now. I got to keep going. I'm not going to sit here like some asshole.
Oh, come on, man.
All right, you're listening to the Culture Cruise. You can find us at riversedgepgh.com.
Your local Pittsburgh area museum podcast.
Yes, riversedgepgh.com, and come take a ride with us.
You are listening to The River's Edge at www.riversedgepgh.com. Again, follow The Mike Sasson Show on our Facebook page. Just find The Mike Sasson Show. Again, Mike, M-I-K-E, Sasson, S-A-S-S-O-N, Sasson. I can't believe when people always can't spell it.
Everyone always says Sassoon whenever I say it to them, and then they repeat it a little later, and they're like, Mike Sassoon, and I'm like, what the fuck did you get that from? I just said it to you. I just said it.
S-A-S is what? Sass.
Yeah.
If you have a son.
Even S-A-S-S is sass.
Sass on. If you said sass on. Like when I go on on Facebook and I said describe they said, how do you pronounce it? I have S-A-S-U-N. So sass on. So Sasson, there, boom. But S-A-S is sass. Son, this is my son, is S-O-N. So S-A-S-S-O-N. Boom, Sasson. But whatever, who cares?
I think they might get it now. Maybe.
Who knows? But like the show because I need the validation. And you know who else needs the validation? It is Alex Clemens. She loves to drink. Then she likes to listen to songs about pizza. It's Bar Thoughts and Experiences with Alex. Alex, play your song.
Maybe y'all can relate. My style's dope any way that you slice it. It's a fresh cut, hope that you like it. About to open up a can of some cancer. When it come to pizza.
All right, Alex, what happened this week in the life of Alex Clemens?
So last week, I think that I told you, but so while we were at the Millvale Music Festival, I got a friend request, and then I got a message from this guy.
Okay.
And he was like, "Oh, couldn't help but notice you." Blah 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 blah.
Is this okay? A little background. We have discussed over the past week or so since the Millvale Music Festival that we've both gotten a good amount of friend requests. And you say that the vast majority of yours have come under a certain guideline of age and gender.
Yeah, but this was like the very first one that I got because
Okay.
like we were still there.
Okay.
And he's young.
Oh, he's young. He wasn't
a creepy old dude.
Okay, because right
I
now,
shouldn't say creepy. He wasn't an old dude.
men 30 to 50 seem to be taking a liking to you.
They are taking a liking to me.
And I'm telling you right now, no bullshit. And I said this, that is a money demo. If you go up to any broadcaster and say, I will deliver you 30 to 50-year-old males, they'll be like, how much money do you want put in an account every month? That is a money demo. Money demo. Go ahead.
So I'll tell you more about my friend request later. But anyways, so this guy messaged me on Facebook on Saturday and said, hey, I couldn't help but notice you. I wanted to say hi, but you looked really busy, blah, 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 blah. So last Monday, we were doing the show here. And while I was waiting for the show to export, I went to the Double L Bar in Millville to get some food and a drink.
Good food, great place.
And I walked into the bar, and there's 2 other people there besides me. And I was going to eat my food, whatever. And then these 2 other people walked in, and they knew the people that were already there. And the one guy, like, sat next to me, even though that left, like, a chair in between him and his friend. And I was just eating my food. And there's, like, a TV right across from me. And this guy was sitting right next to me. I couldn't tell if he was looking at the TV or just kind of looking at me or, like, just glancing over at me all the time. So I, like, glanced over at him. He was like, I'm sorry, do you mind if I say hi while you're eating? And I was like, well, you kind of already did. So, hi. And he was like, this is really weird, but I'm the guy that messaged you on Facebook on Saturday. How weird is that?
That is pretty weird. Was he stalking? Was he tracking you?
I asked him if he was stalking me, like later in the conversation. I sat there and talked to him for like an hour, but
like an hour.
Yeah, I was, I was waiting for my food to get done and also for the show to get done.
I hear you.
He's a nice guy. But yeah, I asked him if he was talking to me because I had just posted on my Instagram story, like when I got to the bar, I had just posted that I was there. And I was like, oh, he totally stalking me.
But see, that's one of the things about being a female is I've talked to several in my life that have said that it is very, very scary, especially if you're in the entertainment field like you are now, to where like people, they get to know you, they listen to the show, they figure, oh, I know Alex kind of deal. And then, or even just in general, like I have friends who will have told me stories about guys that have followed them home from bars and, all that kind of good stuff, or, driven past their houses at certain hours, all that kind of good stuff. So, I mean, terrible stuff, but I mean, like.
Well, it wasn't scary at all, so that's good.
Oh, good.
And there's no way that he could have seen my Instagram story because you can see everyone who sees it, and he's not friends with me on Instagram.
Okay.
But no, it was nice. We sat and talked there for like an hour.
There you go.
But since the Millville Music Festival, I wrote it down in my hand. As of right now, I've gotten 49 requests in the past week. One of them was a female.
So 48 dudes have Facebook requested you.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, that has to be some sort of record for just a week out of, 48 dudes have just sat there and said, I got to know me some Alex Clemens.
Yeah, so I only got one other message besides that first guy just saying, hey, you guys did really great at the Millville Music Festival. I was like, thank you, I really appreciate that. And that was the end of our conversation. Just a bunch of...
You should message every one of them and be like the Mike Sasson Show, like the Mike Sasson Show, like the Mike Sasson Show.
So I think it's not necessarily because of the Millville Music Festival. I think that because I was accepting people's requests, then it was like, oh, everyone was kind of like connected to each other somehow. Like they all had mutual friends. So then like, oh, I became friends with this person and that person saw it, or now like I'm recommended to that person.
Well, the thing that got me since the Mill, because I have gotten not 49, but like a number of people Facebook requested friends me. But the one thing that got me was I'm still in that position because again, it says single dude and all this kind of stuff. You get just the random beautiful woman that's from like Sweden. It's obviously a bot.
Yeah.
And they're like has 8 friends.
Yeah.
just got on Facebook an
like
hour ago.
3 photos. Yeah.
And I'm just like, every time though, you do get a little bit excited because you do see the picture that the initial goes, Janice Luz wants to be your friend. I'm like, oh, please be from
hell
Pittsburgh.
yeah.
Please be from Pittsburgh. Please have
friends.
please have friends. All this kind of stuff. And it's always like, nope, no mutual friends, no anything. I'm like that. I'm like, God damn it. Then the other thing that always stinks is then you see that they have one friend and it's one of your like people that you know, and you're just like, dude, how did you not sniff out that this was a bot?
Yeah.
How did you? And then you kind of lower your opinion of said friend.
I agree. But so one of my requests, I think, like kind of confirmed my D-list Pittsburgh celebrity status.
Which is the goal. That's the goal.
So it's not as exciting for you because apparently you're already friends with him. It's like really sad when I like got the request. I was like, oh my God. And I like ran downstairs and told Liam. And I had him guess, which was the stupidest thing in the world. I was like, it's someone from Pittsburgh. And he's like guessing all of these random ridiculous people.
Mm-hmm.
So it was Rick Seaback.
There you go.
And I was so excited about it. But then I saw that you were friends with him.
Well, first off, I'm obviously met him at the arcade. I've met him at, several times at, in and about. And when I was a producer for the Kren Show, we had him on. Great guy.
Yeah.
Very nice man. But that's neat that he knows you and he knows the show.
Yeah, I've never even met him.
Yeah, so, I mean, again, that's really cool. The last time I talked to Rick was at the opening of the new arcade.
Yeah.
And he was there was 2 groups of people at the arcade on that night. There was the improvisers, who were all kind of like the theater folk and, very kind of jumpy and happy and all that kind of stuff. And then there was the comics, and we were all sitting in the corner, like eating our pizza, because they had like tons of free pizza, so we weren't going anywhere. We're like, okay, we're eating this pizza and eating the beer and soda, whatever. We're eating here until there's no pizza left. So we're sitting there and we're eating. And so Rick comes over to like the comics and he goes, oh, here's the stand-ups. I'm sure the conversation is kind of morbid. And so we sit there and we like, do you want it to be? And he goes, sure. And I go, has anybody ever asked you just because of your voice to do their eulogy? And he sat there and he goes, well, he talked about his dad and he did his, for that. And I go, but nobody out of the blue. And I go, man, I would love for you to do my eulogy. And I'm like, but I want you to make it like someone else writes it to tell him like, Mike is a complete piece of crap. Yeah. Everyone hated Mike.
I want to do your eulogy.
Yeah,
that sounds like fun.
The fact that I'll be dead is the funnest part.
Oh, man.
But no, so that's the last time I met. Yeah, but great guy. But yeah, Rick Seaback is now a fan of Alex Clemens, super producer extraordinaire. You'll be in the next Rick Seaback documentary.
Oh, I hope so.
That's when you know you've made it. When it'll be like when she's like, I'm doing a documentary on women in internet radio, and you're like,
that's me.
Jackpot. We had one of the things I remember Mike Wysocki always talked about. He goes, Rick Seaback, his greatest attribute is he can make anything seem interesting in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Like he can sit there and talk about a guy who wakes up every day and makes donuts in some part of Pittsburgh that you've never been to and does like 15 minutes on how he makes the donuts and where he's from and how long he's made the donuts and all this kind of stuff. And you're just enthralled. And I'm just like, I am watching a 15-minute documentary about a guy in Bloomfield who makes donuts.
See, this is what we needed. I had a documentary class at Point Park, and we had to make this Pittsburgh documentary. Uh-huh. And we each had different segments of it. I think mine was like the cultural district and like how it's like blossomed. And like there was one segment, I think it was Liam's segment, was the transportation segment. So it's just like a bunch of buses and shit for like 10 minutes. Uh-huh. And if we had Rick Seaback, doing the documentary with us, it would have been a lot better.
But here's what Rick Seaback would have done, and this is again the whole point of being a great documentarian. You can't do the obvious stuff. Like if someone says the cultural district, you got to find the person who does the flowers in the cultural district and do that person. Or you got to talk to the person who works at Steak and Potatoes or Meat and Potatoes who chops the butcher. That guy. That's the person. You don't sit there and do the typical.
A bunch of drugs.
Yeah. And then when he goes and scores drugs, then Tony likes to score his meth in the Hill District. You know, that's when you get like the A-level stuff that Rick Seaback would get.
Yeah.
So again, congratulations on your entrance.
Thank you.
Into, I think you might be at least an E-level celebrity at this point. Maybe
I
not
hope
D.
so.
Maybe not D.
Well, I started out wanting to be a C-list celebrity, and then I lowered my standards.
No, go to C.
No, I like D-list better.
Who equivalent is a D? Because
Exactly.
Rick is not D in this town. Rick
No.
is A.
There's a mural of him.
Yes. If you walk into like a Giant Eagle Market District in Fox Chapel, it's like Bruno Sammartino, Christina Aguilera, Jerome Bettis, Rick Seaback.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely like A-list in Pittsburgh.
Someday when you walk into the Market District, there'll just be a mural of Alex.
I don't know if that's where I want my mural to be. Maybe somewhere cooler.
Where would you want
Just even like on the side of the street, I feel like is better than in a Market District.
The coolest mural in this town is the one near Point Park, the Pittsburgh Pirate one, where they have all the baseball players under the
I
bridge.
do really like that one, yeah.
That is a cool one.
Yeah.
There you go. Is there anything else?
No, I'm good.
All right, there you go. She is good. That is Bar Thoughts and Experiences with Alex Clemens. Thank you very much, Alex. Now, my segment, in which I decipher and delve deep into a subject that you think is great, but also can suck. It's great. That sucks. Play my song. So when thinking of the segment, I was thinking of the fact that the initial concept of the segment was me to take something that people think either insanely sucks and tell people why it's great, or what is great and I tell you what sucks about it. And so today I treated myself to a hoagie because
I'm
might
so
not be
jealous too.
Yeah.
I saw this picture. I was like, ugh.
There's so many things in this world that I can't think of maybe 5 things in this world that I love more than hoagies. And I have 7 brothers and sisters. So that's how much I love hoagies. But I challenged myself and I said, Mike, you got to do a great that sucks about hoagies. So here we go. The easy part. What's great about a hoagie? Number 1, the variety. Steak, veggie, meatball, French dip, cold cut. So many different types of hoagies you can get. And so it can be a hot hoagie, it can be a cold hoagie. Unbelievable amount of variety. You can eat a hoagie every day and never get bored with the variety of hoagies. What sucks about one? The bread is so super important that bad bread could ruin it all.
Ruin it.
I believe that a hoagie, when you are really describing how good a hoagie is, 9 times out of 10, you're talking about the bread. The bread is the key. If you could have the best sauces and the best meat and the best everything, if the bread sucks, if it's soggy and it's shitty and all this kind of stuff, you might as well throw it in the river. It's unedible. It's terrible. So that's the first thing. Would you disagree or agree?
No, I agree. My favorite hoagie is from Danny's Hoagies.
Uh-huh.
And they have like the perfect amount of crispiness to their bread, and there's like melted cheese on the
Have you ever
side
had a
of
bad
it.
hoagie from this place?
No. They've definitely changed over the years because they've had multiple different owners. But it's never been bad. Just like great, just amazing amount of cheese and grease and deliciousness.
There you go. That's why hoagies are awesome. Number 2 thing that's great about hoagies, it could be either healthy or you could make it terrible for you.
Yes.
Like you could, again, go with the cold cuts, go with the turkey, go with some mustard, kind of whatever, make it light. Or steak hoagie, slather it in, cheddar cheese, onions, bacon, all that kind of stuff. It could be great for you or it could be terrible for you. There's not many foods that can do both. Number 2 thing that sucks about hoagies, it's not as consistent. Like pizza is pretty consistent. Like when you were in school and you knew that you were going to have pizza, even the lunch ladies could do a good pizza. You put the bread, the sauce, the cheese, the pepperoni, you got a pretty good pizza.
Yeah.
Imagine if at lunch in elementary school they tried to make you a hoagie. They could screw it up. They could make it awful. Bad bread, bad everything, stale, whatever. That's why it's not as consistent. Like I could sit here right now and say that like even bad, like whatever pizza, still pretty good. A bad hoagie, again, feed it to a Rottweiler.
Yeah.
It's pointless. Number 3 thing that's great about hoagies, you can really kind of easily, without a lot of work, customize it. I like extra pickles. You want to toast it? That's up to you. You know what? It's easy. The sauces, it's very easy to custom. Like, hey, if I get you a roast beef, hey, what else do you want on it? I want spicy mustard or yellow mustard or mayonnaise or light mayo, whatever. That's what's great about it. Number 3 thing that sucks about it was too many names. It's either a hoagie or a grinder or a sub or a hero.
Do you think there's any difference? Would you consider a difference between a sub and a hoagie?
No.
Okay.
Like when I went to school in Connecticut, one of the things it took me about a month and a half to realize when people were saying grinder, they were saying hoagie.
Yeah.
Not
the gay app.
Yeah. When I went, or some people might have been saying the gay app. Anyways, it was 1995. It was probably just talking about the hoagie.
Yeah.
But the one thing that got me was the fact that like it took me that long because people would be like, "Hey, Sass, want to go get a grinder?" And grinder to me always meant like a hockey player that couldn't score a lot. Like that's what a grinder was. So I'm like, why are we going to get Troy Loney?
We're going to go kill one?
Yeah, we're going to go kill a grinder. Speaking of the gay app grinder. So I did a show with a comic who is known throughout the community as being gay. And there was this really good-looking dude in the audience. And so on the stage, I don't even know what he was doing. I thought he was looking at his notes and stuff like that. He's looking at Grindr because, again, I guess it has like an app where you can like find people.
Oh, yeah.
So he's trying to figure out if anybody, especially that guy, was on Grindr. And I'm like, dude, concentrate. We're here. We're trying to like do something. And he's just like, no, if that guy wanted me to leave, I'm leaving. And I'm just like, okay, I get you. But like, I thought that was interesting on the stage.
I thought you were going to say that the person was on Grindr.
No,
that would have been good.
Well, the thing is, the guy left in the middle, and the girlfriend had to tell everybody that it was a doctor, and we're all like, ooh, la-di fucking da, yeah.
That makes you a better person.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever. Okay, number 4 thing that's great about hoagies is very portable. Like a pizza would be tough to take on a bus. It's like big, it's bulky, it's kind of can be heavy if it's like Chicago style. Whereas a hoagie, it's a little bag, it's wrapped up, it's very portable. Number 2 thing that stinks about a hoagie, Jared from Subway liked hoagies a lot, was a pedophile. Was it the hoagie? I don't know. We haven't gotten to the bottom of it.
See, I always, in my mind, the difference to me between hoagies and subs was that they were like toasted and like melted cheese and stuff like that.
See, but if you go to Subway, which is again derivative from sub, that's not how they are.
Right, like you can get them like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing with hoagies. You can get a like a toasted hoagie.
Right, that's how they should be.
Yeah. The whole point of again, this is how much I'm interested in the whole sub, hoagie, whatever. I've watched massive documentaries on them.
What do you mean?
There was a documentary, especially up in Connecticut, because of the reason why they called them subs was because in Groton, Connecticut, they made all the submarines for like the Navy, and this was the bread that they took on, and they noticed that they look like submarines, so that's why they called them subs. But they're on a hoagie roll, so that's why they called them a hoagie. And why they're called grinders is no one could explain that.
For fun.
Just for fun.
Someone like made it up one day and they're like, let's keep doing this.
By the way, the last time I was at UConn, I was with my brother and I'm like, dude, we got to go to Ted's Giant Grinders. And so
that's an amazing name.
Yeah. So the thing you had to always get was a cheeseburger grinder.
Ted's Giant Grinder.
Which was literally like 4 hamburgers because it was like almost like 18 inches wide. It cost you like $8. But it was like typical college food and stuff like that. So I had to take my brother to get a cheeseburger grinder at Ted's.
I want to go to that place. That sounds incredible.
You do. And then the number 5 thing that's great about hoagies, you can make one quick and easy. Like if you want a pizza, you got dough and you got sauce, and you got to cook it and all that other kind of stuff. Hoagie, boom, 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 you're out. You got a hoagie. The number 5 thing that sucks, day-old hoagies in the fridge.
What? No.
I don't like them.
Oh my God, you've never had a Danny's hoagie then.
Yeah.
Well, they're totally good. They're totally good reheated.
Now,
you just have to do it right, though.
See, I don't like doing things right. I want them to be very simple. I like cold pizza. I love cold chicken from KFC. I personally think cold KFC chicken is better than it hot.
That's weird.
No, it's not. It's completely right. But a cold Subway hoagie from the day before, it's unedible.
Well, it depends on what kind you have.
Like what kind?
I don't know. I feel like if you have just like some veggies and chicken.
See, but here's the problem, and that's why, like, one of the things we always had a debate about when we played football was at the end of the game, we'd always get a boxed lunch to go on the bus or whatever like that, and in it would be a hoagie. That's why it was critical to make sure that the lettuce and the tomato was in a separate bag, because if the lettuce and tomato is on the hoagie, then the moisture from the tomato and the lettuce would make the bread soggy.
We have to get the right vegetables, yeah.
What are the right vegetables?
Not tomatoes.
You don't like tomatoes?
No, I like tomatoes, but you're right. They make it soggy.
Huge fan of pickles.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, there you go. That is great. Pfft, that sucks. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we are going to discuss with this week's Fresh Eyes. We're going to discuss 80s Aerosmith videos. I had Alex watch Dude Looks Like a Lady, Love in an Elevator, and Ragdoll. I think I got her on this one. I think she's going to be a huge fan. Probably not. Anyways, it's the Mike Sasson Show. You are listening to The River's Edge at www.riversedgepgh.com. We'll be right back.
The Double L Bar, Grant Avenue, Millville, Pennsylvania, reminding you that you're listening to the River's Edge Radio Network.
It is the Mike Sasson Show. You are listening to The River's Edge at www.riversedgepgh.com. Again, like us on Facebook at The Mike Sasson Show. And again, you get all the great content, and you get told when we're going to have cool pictures. We'll be posting more pictures from the Millville Music Festival. But right now, speaking of music, we have a segment called Fresh Eyes, where Alex looks at old music videos from the 90s, 80s, or even the 70s, and she tells what a Fresh Eyes take. This whole thing didn't make sense. Let's just go again. Alex watches old videos, tell us what she likes. It's Fresh Eyes. Play the song. Again, this is Fresh Eyes. So what I had Alex do is, again, watch some old videos. Now, by the way, I always get this out of the way. Had you ever seen these videos before?
No.
Okay, so I had her watch 80s Aerosmith videos. Now, the reason why I always feel that these are very unique in the history of music videos is that Aerosmith was one of the biggest bands of the 1970s. They had Dream On, Walk This Way, all these kind of big, huge hits in the 1970s. Then they got so coked out of their minds that they broke up in like 1979, and they didn't get back together until like 1984. And then they really kind of, they were in the middle of like the whole British, pop invasion of MTV, and they didn't fit anymore, all this kind of stuff. And if you'd have picked a band that would eventually become one of the biggest bands of the MTV era, you would not have picked Aerosmith.
Yeah.
But somehow, some way, helped by the Run DMC video, they became relevant. And then they came out with Permanent Vacation. And right now, Aerosmith is the biggest selling American hard rock act of all time. 150 million albums sold throughout the country. Steven Tyler is one of the biggest names in entertainment. He'd been on American Idol, Joe Perry, all these guys, huge names. And it all started with these videos from the 80s that got them back together. First off, we'll start off with the one that was really kind of the shot across the bow that got him noticed, and that was Dude Looks Like a Lady. Alex, first off, never seen Dude Looks Like a Lady.
No.
Okay.
But I can tell you I hate the song.
You hate the song.
I always hated this song.
You've heard it before and you've hated the song.
Always.
Okay, what did you think? Why do you hate the song?
It's so repetitive. Come
Okay.
on. And I already hate his voice. His voice saying the same thing over and over again doesn't make me like it anymore.
Okay, what did you think of the video, the aesthetics of said video?
I did not like his outfit. He was wearing fucking pajamas to show off his little tiny penis. And he didn't even have any good dance moves. I can at least respect you. If I don't like your voice at all, and don't like anything else about you. If you have good dance moves to make up for it,
Yeah.
cool. I'm on board.
How would you describe his dance moves?
Some dude just got super shit faced and is dancing around the club.
Okay.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, because he actually was wearing almost like a kimono.
And just basically grinding on everything.
Yeah,
too.
he was humping
That's a
everything.
Huge thing.
He was humping everything.
Everything.
What did you think about the guitarist Joe Perry? Because he's always been thought of as being very physically fit and decent looking.
Yeah, definitely. If I had to pick the best looking in the band, it would be him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of the video, a few things that I picked up on because I hadn't seen the video in 10, 15 years. Is how much, first off, the whole concept, Dude Looks looks like a lady wouldn't fly today.
No.
Also, a lot of the imagery, which was just like, hey, women.
Yeah.
Like pull up, show a girl's butt.
That was my favorite part of the video when they pulled that girl's shorts off and it was just her butt.
And the Aerosmith
part.
tattoo.
Yeah, favorite part.
That was the favorite part.
Yeah.
That was the one where you just
Fun,
Yeah. Well, okay. One thing I will say that these guys, they did have fun, and they definitely were giving you a 13-year-old boy's take on sexuality.
On everything. Yeah.
That was what. So. You would say overall, dude looks like a lady, festering piece of shit.
Absolutely terrible.
Okay,
especially that outfit. Get a different outfit.
Next one. The second video that came out of it was Ragdoll. That was they were in New Orleans. They're going around. They're all that kind of stuff. What'd you think of Ragdoll?
First of all, the beginning of this video pisses me off so much because they're just hitting this drum over and over again. And you're like, I get it. Just stop hitting the drum and go on with the rest of the song.
But they have two scantily clad women holding the drums. Remember that?
Yeah, but it just goes back and forth in between that and this other shot for a good minute. And I'm like, just please stop. Please just go on with the rest of the video. But I see, this is the thing. I like sexual songs. Don't get me wrong. But I have yet to like any of these 80s sexual songs.
Why?
And I don't understand how so many women got so turned on by them in particular and these songs. I'm like, this is just nothing about this does anything for me.
One of the things that again, in my own fresh eyes, is so I Wikipedia'd it and looked at it. These guys at this time were in their early 40s.
Yeah.
So that was the most amazing thing to me is these guys are in their early 40s. They're appealing to 13 and 14-year-old boys, and it worked. They absolutely became the band of every 15-year-old boy. And that they always say that's why classic rock acts can have such unbelievable careers is because when you go to their concerts, you get the 15-year-old boys who like them, then their dads who are in their 40s like them, and then if you get a Rolling Stones, you get the kids, you get the dads, and you get the grandpas and all that kind of good stuff. But the other thing about especially Ragdoll was it was insanely sexual.
I feel like they just wrote songs so that they could have music videos where they basically have sex with women.
Yeah.
That's it.
You didn't like the last part where he's driving down the street?
No, that was my favorite part.
That was just every woman's coming out waving to him and stuff like that?
Yeah, no, I thought that was a baller move on his part. But the rest of it, I hate it.
That was a baller move. Now, okay, and then the last video was maybe generally viewed as being one of the low points in music video and songwriting in rock and roll, which was Love in an Elevator.
Yeah.
That was their first song from the album that was after Permanent Vacation, Pump. That's the video. That was the name of the album, Pump.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah. And it was a song. The thing that Aerosmith did back then was their songs in the 70s they wrote. These songs they got the hottest producer at the time to help write. And legitimately, this song, you talk about, we're just going to write a song just so we can have imagery of just, women everywhere.
Yeah.
That's exactly what this is. Love in an Elevator.
It's basically his way of doing, softcore porn without the judgment.
Yeah.
But I mean, he still got judgment for it, but not as much as you would if you were doing porn.
And it was just so many weird, he had a little person with a tall guy, and then
there's the Wizard of Oz shit in there.
Yeah, and then
I'm wait, what's happening right now? I'm so confused.
And then Joe Perry was that was actually his wife. And they were making out in the video.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, and then she was. Yeah, they're trying to cover her boobs and stuff like that. And
that was super sexual.
Yeah, that would literally, legitimately, that was. Yeah, that was super
sexual.
There was a husband and a wife making out in an elevator. But so one of the things that to illustrate the point of what this video did to MTV was Warrant, whose lead singer I believe is currently dead. He never recovered from this. He tells the story that he had written his second album. And the album was supposed to be called Uncle Tom's Cabin. Mm-hmm. They had picked the first video was supposed to be Uncle Tom's Cabin, all this kind of stuff. The record company came up to him and said, hey, we need your Love in an Elevator. We need your first fun, sexy hit that's going to play on MTV and all this kind of stuff. And so instead of saying, no, screw you, the record's done, print it, let's promote it, it's a good album.
Yeah.
He buckled and he wrote a song, and you might have heard it, called Cherry Pie.
Yeah.
And, he, my cherry pie, whatever. And he thought it was just going to be a song on the album. Without even telling him, they redo the artwork, they redo the album, call it Cherry Pie. He's judging cherry pie eating contests, everything, just all that kind of good stuff. And he literally, you could watch it on YouTube. He goes, I'm the cherry pie guy. I'll never live it down. I'm always going to be I'm a joke because I wrote the cherry pie song, but because of Lovin' and Elevator, because it was such a gigantic hit, because everyone's like, oh, look how fun they're having, and look at the sex and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it wasn't like, but here's why I don't think that you like, and again, I'm talking for you. But the thing that I don't think you like about it's not sex-y. It's just straight, just like, again, like how 14-year-old boys think of sex. Like, it's just boobs.
Yeah, I don't know, but like not even in a good way. And I think the music just really ruins it.
But the thing about Aerosmith, which I always get to, is...
Because I feel like if you put this music video and you put different music behind it, it might be better.
Joe Perry, though, the guitarist for Aerosmith, though, is a legitimate A-level guitarist. They call him the Riffmeister because you think about, he is one of the best riff creators in the history of rock. In a sense that, he has those songs to where, like, you have a great riff when you could just say it with your mouth and people know it is like, like, that's Walk This Way. That's Joe Perry.
Yeah.
And so, like, with Lovin' an Elevator, he has a blistering guitar solo. It's like a third of the song.
It's really, really long.
But that's a great guitar solo. So I'm like, wow, that's a really great guitar solo. But then, like, another third of the song comes on, and it doesn't tell another story. It's just like, yeah, we screw in an elevator.
Yeah.
So again, let's surmise 80s Aerosmith in just a few sentences, Alex.
Sex. Bad dance moves.
Bad clothes.
Bad clothes. Small penis.
Old people in their 40s being very weird.
Do you know who... I highly doubt this. Do you know who Teddy Geiger is?
No.
Okay. He's a musician, but Joe Perry in this picture, like, they look like they're the same person, and it's really crazy.
Okay.
Except Teddy Geiger's transitioning into a woman.
Good for Teddy Geiger.
It's really sad. He's really pretty and, like... everyone's teen heartthrob.
Oh, that's a shame. Anyways, that was Fresh Eyes. Thank you very much, Alex.
You're welcome.
Now we go to news and notes from the world of gossip, sports, and weirdness. Play the song.
It all starts now.
This story that we start out with, when I saw it, I was like, you know what? This might take the nomination for Video of the Year. I sent it to you. Did you watch it?
Yeah, I watched it.
Okay. It's from Canada. It's from Western Canada in British Columbia. A woman walks into a Tim Hortons, which is like Canada's version of like Dunkin' Donuts. Even though they have them actually, if you Google it, they're all around in Western Pennsylvania now. It's weird.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, they're all over the place.
Oh, man, the closest one I've seen has been in New York.
No, there's a couple in Washington County. There's a couple in Wheeling.
Hell
There's
yeah.
All those places. Anyways, so she goes into a Tim Hortons, and the initial story was woman walks in, gets angry at the person at Tim Hortons, pulls down her pants, and now Alex, back me up if I'm not describing this correctly, goes against the wall, pulls down her pants, takes a crap on the floor, picks up the crap with her own hand, throws it at the cashier, takes napkins, wipes her butt, and throws the poop napkins at the freaking person.
I think that's what really did it.
That's what you were like.
Not even the first poop. It was like, I'm even going to throw these fucking napkins at you. That's how angry I am.
Now, when it first came out, no one knew why she was this upset. Now it has come out why she was upset. She was upset because she had come into the Tim Hortons and said, I need to go to the bathroom. And the people at Tim Hortons, even though Tim Hortons says there is no strict policy that says that only customers can use the restroom,
Yeah.
because of the fact that this person apparently is like a town weirdo and has done weird stuff in the Tim Hortons, they were like, no, you don't get to be in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And she got nuts and said, no, I got to go to the bathroom. And she's like, no, you can't go into the bathroom, whatever. And so she sits there and does the crap and throws everything like that. Which, by the way, I don't know how you spend the rest of your day when you've had poop flown at you.
Do you want to know what impresses me about this video?
What impresses you?
Is that like you have to have a specific type of poop in order to throw it like that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like just like the perfect poop. And it didn't look like there was anything left on the floor. She just had like the very specific poop that you could pick up and throw at someone.
If
and,
she
like,
had
the whole
diarrhea,
piece-
then yeah, she just
Right.
slips around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean, like, I don't know, has to be in like a certain shape. Like, I don't. That was very impressive.
She had good
to me.
she had good throwing poop.
I mean, does she do this all the time? And then she eats specific food so that she can throw poop at people?
What would you eat to make sure that you have good throwing poop?
I don't know, but she must have figured it out.
Here's the thing that gets me about this is that it comes back to the fact that the squeaky wheel gets the oil. For the rest of time, people are going to just let the crazy person go into the bathroom.
Yeah.
Because now, in some cases, especially locally, the woman could be going in to do heroin.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a lot of reasons why you close off the bathroom. But the thing is that if she just would have been like, oh, okay, and walked out, guess what? She doesn't go to the bathroom. Now that she's taken a giant dump in the Tim Hortons, pretty much anybody who's ever seen this video who works at a McDonald's, a Wendy's, a Tim Hortons, a Dunkin' Donuts, it's just going to be like if some crazy woman walks in and says, I need to go to the bathroom, you're just going to be like, fine, go, because I don't want you to take a dump on the fucking floor.
Yeah.
Which makes me mad because there needs to be, the whole world just lets people kind of like the people who make the most noise get what they want, and people that kind of stay quiet kind of just take it. Speaking of that, the second story has something to do with that.
Okay.
This made national news because apparently in New Jersey, there's this high school where there is this cheerleading squad. Like every high school is a cheerleading squad. But apparently this cheerleading squad, they're very competitive in the culture of the school. They're very highly thought of. And so this girl goes out for the cheerleading squad and doesn't make it. Happens. She got cut.
Yeah.
Parent calls up the school, calls the school board, screams at the top of her lungs saying, this is unfair, this is crap, my daughter worked hard, I don't understand why she can't be a cheerleader, blah, blah, blah. So instead of telling this woman, sorry, dems to breaks, maybe your daughter shouldn't be a cheerleader, they've changed the rules midway through and say, okay, every 12th and 11th grader who goes out for cheerleading gets to be a cheerleader. Everybody below that is a JV cheerleader, which means there were some sophomores that made the varsity squad, but now because of the rule change, they don't get to be cheerleaders.
Oh, but like, I wouldn't even like if I was that girl and like my mom complained, I wouldn't even want to be a cheerleader anymore because everyone's gonna hate you because you just changed that role and got into cheerleading. Like
But-
all of those people are gonna hate you.
Well, first off, yeah, it's definitely the mom who just wants her. But my thing is, and I've said this on stage, one of the roles of being a child is you find out what you're good at. Or
Yeah.
the way I do it, comedically, you got to figure out what you suck at. You know, I mean, like when I was in 8th grade, I went out for the basketball team.
Yeah.
I got cut. You know what I learned? I'm not that good at basketball.
Yeah.
I went and played football. That was a great lesson for me. That's what you have to do. You figure out what you, and I think you ever met, and maybe you're at an age where you're starting to meet these people. You ever met someone that you really figure out has never been told that they suck at something and
Yeah.
it's ruining their life?
Yeah.
Like this is the greatest example I've ever had in my life of this. I was a junior in high school. There was somebody in my neighborhood who we were just kind of like hanging around, and we went to the park and we played basketball. He was a white kid from Aspinwall, whatever. And he sat there and he goes, you know what? I can't, I'm really working hard. I can't wait. I think I'm going to go to the NBA. I think I'm going to play in the NBA. And I'm like, you're not on the varsity team. And he goes, yeah, but I'm really trying hard. I'm really trying. I believe in myself. And no, you're not going to the. You're not going to the NBA. You don't play for the Fox Chapel High School basketball team.
Right.
You're not good enough for that team, let alone a college basketball team, let alone the National Basketball Association. Right. And I personally believe it's like one of these things where parents are like, you could do anything that you want within reason. I understand that if you sit there and say, I want to be in the NBA so bad, and if I really work, kinda.
Yeah.
I mean,
but at a certain point, it also takes a certain kind of talent.
Yes, you need a certain level of talent and athleticism and all this kind of stuff, which again goes back to the cheerleading lady in a sense that, you know what, maybe your daughter should focus on something other than being a cheerleader.
Yeah.
Maybe she should not, I don't know. It's if you want to talk about, it all even comes back to the whole royal thing in a sense that, you know, certain people get things because of, you know, who they are, and then certain people can't accept that they don't get it because maybe that's not what they're supposed to have. But I want it. This is what I want. No, you don't get it. You got to work, maybe figure out something else that you're good at. Maybe you're great at math. Maybe you're great at whatever. Who cares? So again, this made national news. Now, had you ever been cut from anything?
No.
Because you realized like you say, you've always that you weren't real great at track.
No, I was terrible.
But you figured that out.
Yeah, but like I mean, I definitely like even with dance and stuff. It wasn't that I was cut from things, but I didn't get as good of parts. Like we used to do the Nutcracker every year, like this Russian Nutcracker, and we would perform it at the Benham Center. And you had to audition, and they would pick your part for you. And it was a mouse for 3 years, always a mouse, and it's not like a great part. And I never got higher than that. I'm like, okay, you know, maybe I'm not.
But you didn't have your mom call up the person and be like, "What? My daughter's been a mouse for 2 straight years. She should be the swan," or whatever the hell that show is.
My dad was always that person that, like, even when I did something wrong, he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna call school and complain." But like, he's never gonna do that. He just says those things, you know.
Your dad would be the one that would call. Your mom would just be like, "Meh, she deserves it."
Yeah, like I plagiarized on a paper when I was a senior. And, like, got caught for it. And my dad was like, "Oh, I'm going to call the school and tell them that they're wrong and blah, blah, blah." And I was like, "Dad, no, this is real."
Yeah.
You just got to accept it. I'm sorry.
Got to accept it. Another thing we might not have to accept anymore is that eventually you die. So at Yale University recently, this is kind of scary.
Okay.
They were able to reanimate a brain that had already been severed from its body from a pig.
Ew.
So essentially, they were able to bring the brain back to life, which a couple thoughts came to my head. First and foremost, could you imagine you're a pig? You went through the trauma of being slaughtered. Now your consciousness comes back and you're just a brain in a jar.
I don't even know how that works. I don't even understand any of that.
That's the whole. No one does. Just the scientist was able to do it. Like, hey, you're reanimated.
Like, you're back.
You're back. How you doing?
But, like, do you have the same memories? Like,
I don't know. It's all weird. Could you imagine, like, okay, you die. Alex Clemens dies. You've lived a great life, whatever, you're dead. You're in heaven. You're going all of a sudden. Then, boom, you're back and you're in, like, some robot head and you're just like, no, I wanted to be done. I'm good. I had my run.
I don't know. I think I'd be happy about it.
Really?
Yeah.
But what if everyone you know is dead?
So, then you meet new people.
Okay. I would think it'd just be... The other thing about it that I was a little upset with is the fact that means that, like, okay, one of the great things about, like, you know, let's say in my world of comedy is that eventually comedians die and go away. But now, if Richard Pryor never goes away, I can't get good spots at comedy clubs. Richard Pryor's going to perform. He never leaves.
Right.
You know, the whole, you know, Bill Hicks comes back. They bring back his whole brain and all that kind of stuff. Could you imagine that be the thing? That's a stupid movie that someone will make. Maybe it'll be me. Where someone wants to be like a comedian so bad that he finds like Bill Hicks's brain and finds a way to like just like rip him off. Like reanimate it and kind of like start watching
Switch their brains.
Switch the brain or like kind of like go, okay, but watch this. And he's like, I don't have eyes. Like, okay, we got to figure out eyes. But then like, he figures out.
He puts it in a robot's body. I feel like that's probably the easiest thing.
Yeah, puts it in a robot's body and all of a sudden Bill Hicks is watching like Fox News and then all of a sudden writes like great material. Yeah. And it was like, hey, you know, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, wow, that's brilliant. And then they're like, haha, because it's Bill Hicks.
Yeah, and then something bad happens.
Yeah.
Where, like, the brain dies again.
Yeah, now he's out of material.
What do I do?
Yeah, I'm out of material.
Stuck on stage.
Yeah. Wah, wah.
Yeah.
There you go. Anyways, You can, reanimate. By the time, these are the kind of things that I think that people don't realize is like when people say, what are they going to come up with next? This is the kind of weird shit they're going to come up with.
That's it.
There you go. You won't be able to die. Especially if you're rich. Someone who possibly should look into passing away is Farrah Abraham. Former teen mom went to the Cannes Film Festival. Why? I have no earthly idea, but she was there. And she took a picture in which she apparently showed her hoo-ha, her hoo-nanu-nanu, her...
I think hoo-ha was enough.
Hoo-ha to the world. Now, here's the other thing that came out. People have come out like, ooh, was this a wardrobe malfunction? I just read an article that there's a video out there of her legitimately shooing people away, pointing at a photographer, nodding her head, and then smiling, knowing that she's exposing her genitals.
And I mean, like, it wasn't a wardrobe malfunction. She's not wearing any underwear.
You've never been that close. I've never understood if people sit there and go, oh, wardrobe. I think 99% of wardrobe malfunctions are clearly not wardrobe malfunctions.
Like, just wear some underwear. That's why it's clearly not a wardrobe malfunction.
But someone had to design this dress and be like, Farrah, you can't wear this dress. Your vagina will show. No, that's the point.
It looks like she's opening it up more than it typically is too.
And what if a kid just went, hey, how you doing? But because she's been pregnant, she's a teen mom. Anyway, She's also done porn, so she's lived a full life already.
Yeah.
Also, what the hell is she doing at the Cannes Film Festival? They let anybody in. It used to be like a big deal. You win the Palme de Jour of the Cannes Film Festival. Now you have, teen mom / porno stars showing their genitals to the world.
Yeah, I mean, they let anyone in, I guess.
They let in. Next year we're doing it, and I'm gonna come up with the Bill Hicks Brain movie, and we're gonna figure it out.
And I'll wear a dress like that.
It just, except you'll wear shorts and be like, ha, can't see it.
Yeah, I'll wear like some underwear that says something funny on it, and then I'll pretend to flash people.
Yeah, like the Mike Sasson Show. Yeah.
She got me.
There you go. Everyone's like, oh my God, Alex is, she got me.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on. Donald Trump is currently the president of the United States.
What?
And Bill Gates is currently a very rich man. And Donald Trump likes to talk about how rich and successful he is. But compared to guys like Bill Gates, he's essentially, he's a night manager at a Popeye's Chicken. He's not that. To put him, Bill, they say that Donald Trump might be between $4 to $8 billion in terms of net worth. Bill Gates is in the $90 billion range.
Yeah, just that.
Yeah. There was a comedian once who was talking about Bill Gates in a sense that Donald Trump always says that, he's worth $5.2 billion. And to Bill Gates, he goes, it's cute that you still, count the 0.2.
Aw.
He goes, the 0.2 is my fast cash at the ATM.
Oh, damn.
But
talking shit.
Yeah, we was. So Bill Gates was recorded, and I don't think this was supposed to be for national publication, but he was in front of a lot of people at the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And someone talked to him and said, hey, had you ever met Donald Trump? And he said, well, here's the thing. I had never met him until he won the election. I had been in the same place, but I had purposely tried to avoid him.
Yeah.
He had actually met my daughter because he had been at a riding event because apparently, the daughter of a guy who's $90 billion obviously does equestrian. Yeah, she doesn't play softball or anything. She's got to ride horses.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that always pissed me off. Bruce Springsteen's daughter's this great equestrian. I'm like, yeah, way to be super middle class, Bruce Springsteen. Your daughter's in the rich sport. Well, your son's doing polo, whatever. But again, he talks about that. This is if anybody talks about what kind of guy Donald Trump is, according to Bill Gates's daughter, everyone knew that Donald Trump was there. They had already seen him. But then, 20 minutes later, a helicopter flies in, lands, and it's Donald Trump.
What?
Which means that Donald Trump had to have been driven to where his helicopter was, get into a helicopter, fly back to the equestrian event just to make an entrance.
So he's already there and then made another entrance.
Yeah, so kind of weird. Anyways, so eventually Bill Gates gets invited because, Donald Trump is now going to be the president of the United States, so he wants to talk to Bill Gates. So Bill Gates, being that this guy's the president, goes up to him, and he sits there and says, Donald Trump introduces himself and talks about his daughter, who's now she goes to Stanford. She's 22 years old. And he sits there and talks incessantly about her appearance, which according to Bill Gates made Melinda, his wife, not very happy.
Yeah, I wonder.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
Yeah. And then he started talking and he sat there and Bill Gates is talking about one of the things he could do would be vaccines. He sits there, he goes, you could be the president that ultimately funds the funding to cure HIV. Mm-hmm. And he sits there and goes, HIV, HPV, which one are we talking about? And Bill Gates is like, those are real different.
Yeah.
Those
just a bit.
Those are a bit different. And then the funny thing, he says, I had another meeting with him, and he still got the two mixed up.
Someone should just give him a little health lesson there.
Yeah, a little
Didn't
cheat
he
sheet.
take health class?
I don't know. But apparently he could not tell the difference. He did not know the difference between HIV and HPV. Just so you understand, one can lead to cervical cancer. The other one leads to possibly early death. So, who knows?
Both of them can lead to early death.
Yeah, but one of them...
One is a lot less likely.
Yeah, one is HIV, I would say, is like the king of... Do you think it's still the king of sexually transmitted diseases?
I think so. I mean, what's worse than that?
That's what I'm saying. That's that's the granddaddy.
Yeah.
That's the big boy.
No, none of the other ones I feel like are that bad.
Yeah. But yeah, the other ones are just minor annoyances, and the other one, you're just,
Dead.
Well, Magic's still alive.
Right.
You just got to take drugs for the rest of your life to keep your T count alive.
And be in health.
And know the difference, because you do need to know the difference. So just so you understand where our president is from, one of the richest men in the world. But speaking of the richest people in the world, Bill Gates for years was the richest guy in the world. And I always think, and everyone's like, oh, richest guy in the world. Just like for years, someone is always kind of the prettiest girl in the world. Like for years when I was younger, it was Cindy Crawford. Then it became Pamela Anderson or whatever. Well, the richest guy in the world is actually now Amazon's Jeff Bezos. He's the CEO of Amazon. He is currently worth $133 billion.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
What?
Yeah.
Come on, dude. Make some more money.
Make some more money. So it's interesting. Neil deGrasse Tyson actually put in cosmic terms how much money that is. He goes, not that anybody asked, but Jeff Bezos' $130 billion laid end to end can circle the Earth 200 times, then reach the moon and back 15 times. With that much left over, circle the Earth another 8 times.
Why? The fact that he took the time to figure that out, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah,
that's pretty much
a couple minutes.
Yeah, that's just kind of what he does. Some other facts about him: $1 to him in terms of his wealth is $88,000.
Holy shit!
So, if he was to him, if a Coke cost $88,000, it would be like $1 to us.
What? How do you live like that? How do you live with that money?
I don't know. But here's some other things that were about it. If you make $200,000 per year, it would take 650,000 years to make $130 billion.
Oh, man, that's sad.
Yeah.
That's real sad.
So you could make a good living. You're making a good living. You're not even in the same galaxy, the same universe as that.
But if our brains don't die, who cares?
Yeah, we'll just keep... We might get
650 more years.
Yeah, we'll just keep getting in there. And here's the thing. If you somehow made $200,000 every single day, it would take you 1,780 years to get to $130 billion.
If you made how many?
$200,000 a day. Every day.
That's what?
$200,000 a day, $200,000 tomorrow, every day for the eternity. It would take you 1,780 years. And to put that in perspective, the guy said 1,780 years ago, Puppetus Maximus was emperor of Rome. That's how long ago that was. That's how rich this guy is.
So there's hope.
There's hope. The thing that gets me about this is he has to go to sleep knowing that he could, with his wealth, solve most of the Earth's problems, and he doesn't.
Yeah.
Like he could decide tomorrow that every child gets vaccinated.
Yeah.
He could decide tomorrow that every child is going to get a college,
Or like food.
Yeah, food. He could make it that everybody gets, that he could cure. He could put $10 billion towards African, HIV, whatever, drugs. And he would still have 123 billion left over. He wouldn't even notice it's gone.
And it's not like he's going to stop making money.
Yeah, he's only 54 years old. And by the way, the woman in the picture, that's his wife who he's been married to since like 1993.
Aww.
So he is not that big of a total scumbag. But I don't know. He's legitimately worth $40 billion more than Bill Gates, the second place guy. And yet cities are tripping over themselves to make sure that Amazon's next headquarters could be in their town.
Yeah.
And the guy's worth $130 billion.
Yeah.
Well, good for him. Anyways, we're going to close with this, which is a big, big news.
Do it.
They're remaking Magnum PI.
I was just talking about this the other day.
Okay.
Well, not this, but
What were you talking about?
we're talking about Tom Selleck.
We're talking about Tom Selleck, who, by the way, here's the big deal.
What?
After the preview, they're already saying that this guy, Jay Hernandez, the guy who's going to be Magnum, he can't hold a candle to the great Tom Selleck.
Well, oh man, wouldn't that suck if that was you? I'm like, I know that I'm never gonna be as good. People don't have to keep telling me.
But
why are we even making this movie?
It's not even a movie. It's a TV show.
Oh, damn.
So it's a TV show. Like initially they were going to make the Magnum PI movie and they were going to have Matthew McConaughey in it. And they passed it because probably Matthew McConaughey's like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
So here's a couple of the tweaks that they've already decided. He will be still a Detroit Tigers fan. He still will drive a Ferrari. He's still in Hawaii. But they said no Hawaiian shirts. And the guy has a goatee instead of a mustache.
I think that's stupid. Goatees are terrible.
So, but here's the thing. Like you said, this guy is being compared to... I don't know if even there could be even somewhat of a compare. Like they've remade TV shows. Like they have Hawaii 5-0, but no one knew who those people... Tom Selleck is still on television.
Yeah.
Okay, people still watch Magnum PI on channels right now, and he's maybe one of the baddest mofo's in the history of television. If you really watch Magnum PI, it's not that good a show, but Tom Selleck is Tom Selleck, and everyone's like, I'm watching this fucking show. Yeah. The opening to Magnum PI is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. I don't know. It'd be like you said. It'd be so. It's like right now they're making the Han Solo movie, or they've made it. And now everyone's sitting there going, well, how is he compared to Harrison Ford? How's he compared to Harrison Ford? And you're just like, dude.
He's not.
Yeah, Harrison Ford is, it's like they interviewed the guy, and he was sitting there, and he had lunch with him. And so he was just like, and Harrison Ford's just a dude, like everything else, whatever. You can touch him, and you can ask him questions, even though he was freaking Indiana Jones. But that was the point. Like, he's sitting there, and this actor's like, oh, so talking about it. He goes, yeah, when I was with George Lucas and Steven Spielberg, he was like, when I was with George and Steven, and we were making the first Indiana Jones, he's like, oh, that's right. You're Indiana Jones. And then like 2 minutes later, he's like, so I'm in, we're in Norway, and we're filming Empire Strikes Back. And you're like, oh, that's right. You're Han Solo. Like, you think about one of the two, most iconic bad dudes of the last 50 years of movies.
Yeah.
You could put Indiana Jones, Han Solo, and oh yeah, you were in Witness. Oh yeah, you were the president. Oh yeah, whatever. And I'm gonna be him. That'd be very, 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 very difficult.
Yeah, I'd say no.
You'd say, but it's a great part. Like I talked about, the whole aspect of remake Dirty Harry with Clint Eastwood, find another Dirty Harry. I think that's why they haven't done these type of roles.
Yeah.
They haven't made another, they've made a new quote-unquote Predator. It's coming out, but they're not putting in, in the jungle with Arnold, because no one's going to be Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Just replace him with women, and then no one has to compare.
Honestly, if they would have just compared a Magnum PI, made it Magnum PI's daughter, because Magnum's the last name.
Yeah.
And then she drives around in the Ferrari. Now, would
she's
she
a
have
super badass chick, yeah.
Yeah. Would she have the mustache?
No.
Okay. What would be her thing? I think she'd still have to wear Hawaiian shirts.
Yeah, that's fine.
And the Ferrari.
But like cutely.
Cutely, like tight, like kind of like, like rolled up kind of deal. I don't know. I think that's one of the reasons why it's stopped now, because now the big deal, this is the last one. They tried with Ghostbusters. It didn't work. Now they're doing an Ocean's 11 with an all-female cast. That's this summer.
Right.
We'll see if that's successful. If that fails, then I don't think you're going to see female reboots.
Yep.
Which, to me, I would love to see. Like I've already said, I think it would be hilarious and cool if they did like Goodfellas with all females.
I think that'd be cute.
That would be really funny. It was just Melissa McCarthy's freaking Joe Pesci and like Amy Schumer's like Ray Liotta and like, that would be cool.
Yeah.
And it's line for line. Then my next thing, first it's the women, then it's fat guys. I want to do a shot-for-shot remake of Dirty Dancing with all fat guys.
Oh, I could see it.
Like not even the female characters, giant fat guys. Not fat women, fat guys. I'm talking really super fat.
Are they dressed as women?
Yes.
Okay.
But giant fat guys.
Yeah, I like that.
I think everyone would like to watch it just for that final thing where the guy jumps up and does like the lift.
Yeah, that would definitely be, I feel like, the only part of the movie that really anyone would want to see.
I think it would be pretty kind of cool, but I'm talking everybody, even the whatever. I'm just looking at the shots when the Patrick Swayze character walks in and he's just a giant, huge, obese fat man.
And he has to be like very sexy,
very kind of like with the attitude and everything like that.
Yeah.
And then they're doing the bumping and the grinding and all that kind of shit.
The bumping and the grinding.
Yeah, Baby's a giant fat guy.
Yeah.
With the wig, so it looks exactly like Jennifer Grey.
Exactly, but fat guy.
Yeah, giant, and not even like chubby. I'm not talking he's a little plump.
I think it'd be good though if they had the same exact costumes. Like they didn't get a costume that fit the old guy. He had to fit into her costume.
Maybe. You could still do the cleavage.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'd still do the wrap up, and like in the lake when you see the outline of the boobs, you could still do the same thing with the giant fat guys.
Sexy.
This is why you listen to the Mike Sasson Show. Thank you very much to everybody. Hopefully Alex will be getting over her cold and her sliced finger in the next couple weeks. But next week we'll be here on Sunday because Monday's Memorial Day. So we'll figure that out. And thank you very much to The River's Edge. Keep listening to The River's Edge for the best music and talk at www.riversedgepgh.com. My name's Mike Sasson. That's Alex Clemens, super producer. If you see us, say us hi, and also go on Facebook and like The Mike Sasson Show so that you make us feel good. Again, see you guys later. Bye.